You all right, Mike?
Oh, we're all right.
I got. Come on.
Tell me when you're ready. We're ready, all right?
There you go. That's what. Jump river. Come on. Keep it. Oh, we get color. Come on, these right here. You got color.
Big one.
He's a big one. All right. Woo! Ethan, look at that. Stick it.
What an accomplishment for 8-year-old Ethan. An indelible memory created by the crew on the Highliner out of C4 Sportfishing in San Diego. Good morning, my friends. That was a scene from the Highliner out of San Diego. What a trip Ethan and Isaac, father and son, had. And there is so much of that playing out. I can hardly contain myself. I do not know where to start with you. The San Diego boats bid up last night. The Freedom is backing into 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. 18 bluefin tuna. And they also had sea bass and halibut on the very same trip. You're going to love that story. The Endeavor into a heck of a bite on sea bass and halibut. And there is so much more to talk about, including a great evening last night with so many wonderful folks who participated in the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club surf fishing tournament. What a great group of people. It was so nice to meet you. You know what time it is, everybody. It is time for the morning briefing. Oh my God. Is that good? Is there so much going on? We are just going to jump into it because it is absolutely mind-boggling what is going on. Let's start with the Freedom out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro because this is breaking news. We are now fishing bluefin tuna out of LA Orange County base landings. The Thunderbird out of Davies Lock in Newport Beach got out there and started to look around and started to find some bluefin tuna within range of LA Orange County base boats. But the Freedom, what a trip they had. And I just talked to Tino Valentine on the Freedom. So they had planned on going sea bass fishing, focusing on sea bass and halibut. And what happened? Well, Tino Valentine said, what the hell? Let's go for it. They were under tackled. Okay, they didn't have the right tackle because they're fishing sea bass, yellows, everybody's ready to do that. And then they go out, and last night they get bit up. They go through at least 20 fish to get the 18 on board, probably more than that. It was really, really biting. Fish to 90 pounds, and it was a phenomenal bite. 18 bluefin tuna on board the Freedom as they're backing into 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro right now. Tremendous fishing, and Tino said there were fish caught last night by several other boats over 200 pounds. What does that mean? You better bring everything if you're going to jump on board the Freedom on that Tuesday night trip, which we were talking to you about. First 15 who sign up get a free dinner. And if that hasn't occurred already, it's going to occur rapidly. Jump on that day-and-a-half trip. I know the Amigo out of 22nd Street has scheduled a 2-day trip. They are going for this bluefin tuna. It is biting. It is really phenomenal. And you definitely need a 2-speed reel. Bring that 2-speed with 100 to 130 pound. That is going to get the job done for you. So how fortunate, how blessed are we here in Southern California to have a trip with tons of rockfish, sea bass, halibut, and 18 big bluefin tuna. It is phenomenal fishing. Tino Valentine, talking to him, I said, did you get lucky or is there some volume to this thing? He said, man, there are a lot of fish, a lot of schools, and they bit for us last night. We were undergunned. You know, my theory was, what the hell, let's go for it. And they did it, and man, what a trip. Tino, way to go. Fantastic fishing on the Freedom. They are going Tuesday night, day-and-a-half. Get on that one. Amigo also going. And now this is going to change everything in the LA Orange County area. We'll see how it progresses. But you folks who are on our Apollo trip at the end of the month, man, I don't know. This is looking insane. And we're not going to make a call. Hang on. Because things change in this business. It's very volatile. So we'll be watching that for you very, very closely and keeping you in touch with the very latest. Let's go south to San Diego where there was some great night fishing again last night. Several boats all over it. And our good friend, not only good friend, expert fisherman Brian Wynn was on board the Cortez. They had a 2.75-day trip. 13 anglers, limits of bluefin tuna for everybody. Brian said it was phenomenal. He had such a great trip, and I love Brian for many, many reasons. He does so many great seminars. We're working together on that, but also just between you and me and all the old farts out there, he'll guide you through your Medicare plan. And I have to throw that in because Brian did so much for me with regard to that. So contact him. You can see how to do that. More back to Brian now on that trip. He said most of it was in the 50 to 100 pound class. There was some smaller fish also in there, but just a sprinkling of that. He said that the 300-gram knife jigs were working best of all. That's what you want to fish with, those three. And he said SK jigs also worked pretty darn well, but tremendous fishing. And we're rolling some footage now of other boats that are unloading in San Diego, courtesy of Mimi Fam down there at Point Loma Sportfishing. Really great fishing going on the Bluefin tuna. Not everybody is getting it, but most boats are getting a good piece of this Bluefin tuna, and several boats limiting out and having absolutely phenomenal fishing. We're talking about that nighttime bite. There is a daytime signal also. A lot of times on that daytime fish, you want to fish those 100-gram lures, that was Akanas, megabaits, something, whatever your preferred lure is, working good. You're fishing 60 to 80 pound when you're doing that, and it is absolutely phenomenal. American Angler, Vagabond, New Loan, just to name a few guys, Pacific Queen, several other boats with really great fishing going on. So remember, you need at least 3 rods. That 25 to 30 pound is starting to become a little passe, but you might use that on that smaller grade tuna when you're fly lining in the daytime, or if you come up on a kelp patty. You always run the risk of hooking a really big fish on that though, but you do want to have that, and then a 60 to 80 pound rod, and then that 130 pound outfit with 2-speed reel. That's going to get the job done beautifully for you. I was talking to Jacob Barclay on board the Pegasus, and he said it's phenomenal, the nature that they're seeing on these trips right now. And he referenced the fact that Baja Sur beaches are starting to get all kinds of red crabs. That's an El Nino signal. Also, those wind sailors are everywhere right now. Thousands of mola molas that are munching on those wind sailors. You've got basking sharks, large numbers of albatross, whales, dolphins, shearwaters, terns. It is phenomenal what we are seeing. All that life bodes well for the future, and man, I'll tell you, it is looking good on the Bluefin tuna right now for several guys. And LA Orange County based boats will be all over it. I'm telling you, this is the time to really start thinking about getting out on the water. The day trips out of San Diego, Scott Bucher decked with Sean Hardigan yesterday on board the Mission Belle. They saw a lot of fish, just wasn't in the biting mood, but that's going to start to change here very soon. They had 9 yellows, 3 bluefin tuna. The Sea Watch with a bluefin tuna. The San Diego 3 bluefin, a couple of yellowtail. They are seeing a lot of fish. It's going to settle and bite. Trust me on that. It's not biting yesterday, but today's a whole different day, and it could get going. Brian Wynn back to the Cortez also had to throw in that they had gloriously beautiful weather, tremendous fishing going on. I got to tell you, I am loving every single second of this. Let me jump you up to the Channel Islands where our good friend Joe Martinez, Grace, I know you're watching, Joe's wife. Good morning to you, Grace. Good morning, Joe. Joe provided us with these photos. Tremendous bite on the sea bass and the halibut up there on board the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor. Sport Fishing 805 676 3474. They are on it. It is biting and tremendous fishing. Sometimes that sea bass up there is taken on the dropper loop. I would say the majority of time with a 4 to 8 ounce torpedo sinker, depending on wind and current and depth and all of that. Aki Twist 5.0 hook is going to do you really well. Other times, though, you're going to go to a lighter lead head setup, and that can work really well for you also. So vary your tackle. You're going to bring 25, 40, 60 pound if you like. There is some great fishing going on up in that neck of the woods. Don't forget, kids fish free on board the Californian out of Ventura Harbor. Sport Fishing on Sundays. You should jump on that. And also the Island Spirit with some great rock fishing going on up there with my friend Cody Rogers. That has been absolutely fantastic. Hey everybody, it's me. We had a little audio problem. Now talking about the CJ out of Cisco's Sport Fishing in Oxnard, California. They've had limits of sea bass a few days ago. Then they get good halibut bites, and I'm not even mentioning all the rockfish. Please forgive me. Those guys, I'm just giving you the kind of game fish, the halibut, the sea bass, the yellows. They all are catching copious amounts of rockfish in absolutely tremendous fishing up there. Mirage 22, guys, 3 white sea bass, a halibut, 5 barracuda, aloha spear, 11 halibut. Nice shot up there in the Channel Islands as that bite is going along really beautifully right now. Catalina Island 2 days ago. That would be Saturday, 19 yellowtail on board the Pursuit at Catalina. Yesterday, 4 yellows, but they are getting that signal, that sign, and that place could turn on in a big way. It did with that 19 yellowtail. That was a nice one. Bow dang with a beautiful forky, as you can see right there the other day. So nice to see that. And they're also able to fish, you know, shallow water stuff, deep water stuff. Depends upon the day. So I go prepared for the game fish, the yellowtail, and then also be ready to catch some rockfish and fill the sacks with some great eating fish. Along the coast here, we continue to see excellent fishing in terms of our rockfish. It's not all the time, but for the most part, it's a slam dunk. Down there out of Seaforth in San Diego and all the San Diego landings. Not trying to pick out any landing. And just walking up the coast, you know, Redondo Special yesterday had some great rock fishing, so good fishing for them. Other boats out of Redondo doing well. Up there out of Marina Del Rey, Channel Islands off the hook on the rockfish. Long Beach-based boats. All these guys are able to catch rockfish. In this cold water year, our local bite has not transitioned into any kind of a surface bite quite yet. A little bit, you know, of bass here and there, an occasional barracuda. We're waiting to see if we're going to see that kind of a year this year. But for right now, you're going home with great fish, great eating stuff, and who can beat that? That is absolutely outstanding fishing going on there. Last night in Redondo Beach, we had a tremendous gathering as everybody came in from the surf fishing tournament. It was a 2-day tournament over the weekend, and what a showing. There was a 31-inch halibut in there, some great croaker fishing. I don't have all the video edited up right now, but I wanted to run a little bit of the joy and happiness and camaraderie that we all experienced last night at the Redondo Rod and Gun Club. And I'll have a video a little bit later today that shows some of the fish that were caught, that shows the great people that were involved. It was phenomenal, and we've got to thank all our sponsors, which I will do in that video. It was an extraordinary event. Anybody who was there will tell you that, I guarantee you, because it was really fun and just really a special moment for all of us. And now we've got more members of the Friedman Adventure family, courtesy of the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club and this great surf fishing tournament. And now, you know, we were thinking, hey, next year is going to be great when we do one. Chuck and I, the president of the club, were saying, hey, what about a fall tournament? Let's start planning it right now. So I think we're in the midst of planning that, so looking really good. Hey, Thunderbird yesterday had 7 bluefin. I mentioned they were the first ones to start looking around, and they lost some really big fish. So, man, I'll tell you, what a morning this is. What a way to kick off the week, because we now have bluefin tuna out of San Pedro and LA Orange County based landings. That is now a reality. Big fish, too. So you're going to need to be tackled up. Brian Wynn down there in San Diego on board the Cortez, showing us that there is really some fantastic fishing on. Doesn't surprise me. Cortez is red hot. Brian Wynn is red hot. Wow, what a great trip for them, and several other boats. Many other boats in on that similar kind of fishing. It is really, really good right now. I know we're going to be doing some special updates throughout the day, but don't forget Freedom going Tuesday night, first 15, free dinner out of 22nd Street Landing. Amigo going also. Ventura Sport Fishing, sending boats like crazy. And man, our Friedman Adventures charters, which I planned mostly for a little bit later in the year, are now looking good. Don't forget, August the 15th, day and a half trip on board the Horizon. Bill Wilkerson out of H&M Landing. You book with them. You have to book with H&M. So book that trip before it gets to be too late, as this season now is looking good. All right, so the question looms. Is this our foot on the gas pedal and then it comes off and we go back into slow fishing, or is the foot on the gas pedal and we're just going to be speeding through the rest of 2023? That's what makes this all so much fun, so interesting. And of course, what Jacob described with all of that nature and life out there, it is just a phenomenal situation to catch yourself in the midst of all of that, and then to be catching 200-pound bluefin tuna. Man, are we blessed or what? Have a great morning, everybody. It's always great to be with you. And of course, I will be back all day long today with special updates if necessary, and live shows, and also Sam's Tackle Show, where we'll go through the tackle that you're going to need to take on these monster bluefin tuna. We'll have all of that in the coming week. Thanks again for the millions of views, the hundreds of thousands of hours consumed. Thanks for making us number one. I deeply appreciate it, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Have a great day, everybody.